Hello everyone, all hope in a very, very wonderful, excuse me, a wonderful, great morning and a very great afternoon indeed, guys. So as you can see, guys, I'm very quietly sorry for actually shooting this late. I was actually quietly giving my daughter Universe, my dog Universe, a couple of minutes for her to have a couple of minutes to have some fresh air, and I was also quietly walking her around, and I was also busy doing the laundry as well. As you can exactly see, I was also busy doing the laundry and also writing new and old villains and heroes and new and old villains and heroes and superheroes in my new book that we just exactly entered in as well. But despite that, guys, I'm so superly grateful for you guys in watching and in viewing my episodes from shorts and from the long videos in YouTube and as well from TikTok. Superly grateful for you guys, and also may God bless you all so much and stay with you and be with you in your goals and in whatever it is that you're all guys are pursuing as well. And also, one more thing, guys, I won't be able to actually upload today's episode on YouTube. I'll upload the actual shorts for the shorts, and I'll see on TikTok if it will be able to be uploaded today as well. But we'll actually see what happens. Nevertheless, let's begin. On today's episode, we're to speak about a superhero known as Kevin Darkest, who is a member of the Universal Defending Heroes, who exactly sworn who exactly with the sole goal to defending the sacred universe and the sacred world and the rest of sacred existence and planet Earth and humanity from the forces of evil that come from the sacred world and from the sacred universe and some of the other sinister threats that also come from within planet Earth and within humanity as well. Kevin Darkness is a descendant of the Darkest family, which is one of the most powerful, revered Phoenician hunters families, which is one of the most powerful, revered Phoenician hunter families in the sacred world, in the sacred world history, because they are well known, because they are well known, because they are joined, because they're a family of Phoenician hunters who've actually joined forces with the Hellfire, the Ferris, Unity, Vestas, the Ferris Unity, the Vestas, and the Starwood, and the Growler family, as well in informing the ancient and powerful group of superhero or powerful group of a Phoenician Hunter superhero family legacy known as the Alliance, that was quietly formed many centuries ago and many millennia by the original Lord of Magic, who was quietly known by a different alias and a different name by Laurel, who is the sacred founder before he became the original Lord of Magic as well. So let's begin. In Kevin Darkest's earlier life, he was quietly born and raised into the sacred orphanage. He was quietly born and raised into the sacred orphanage with no idea exactly what happened to his people or to his kind, and he had no idea exactly what happened to his people or to the rest of his people. Due to this, the Phoenician hunters exactly took extreme measures in protecting and also guiding Kevin Darkest to the righteous path and also to the great path of becoming a superhero, which was quietly trained into the academy throughout his earliest life in the sacred world. He trained gratefully harder, and he exactly helped the Phoenician hunters fight the most powerful, dangerous monsters of the dark dimension, which keep on appearing and reappearing on the mortal plane and on the sacred magical worlds of the sacred magical worlds of the sacred magic universe for all time, which you continue to join forces with the Phoenician hunters to fight the monsters of the dark dimension for them to fulfill their sole purpose and their sole destiny as reason. Throughout the following years, Kevin exactly felt that his sole purpose and reason was actually aligning with the Phoenician hunters as his greater destiny as he continued to fight up against the monsters of the dark dimension. But over time, Kevin quietly grew very wiser and very quietly smarter and very quietly strategic and very quietly intelligent. As he discovered, as he truly discovered that he needs to know exactly who he is and where his origins lie and where he exactly comes from. To that, the Phoenician hunters completely opened up to Kevin Darkest about his origins, about his family's roots, and his connections to his family. And Kevin discovered that he's part of an ancient Phoenician hunter family that is well known throughout the rest of sacred history, known as the Darkest family. And that the most powerful, ancient, darkest, greatest ancestor is Dark Grey, who is the father of the Darkest family and also an ancient benevolent super villain who is a founder and a leader of the ancient secret society he formed many centuries ago, known as the Founders, with the sole goal and purpose and plan in order for them to remain the sole rulers of the cosmos as well in the process. Despite this, Kevin Darkness was very quietly, completely spooked and shocked out of his life to discover that his ancestors and his descendants are still out there actually alive, and that his relatives are still actually alive. And the Four Nation Hunters exactly told Kevin he's free to choose whatever path he wanted to choose, or whatever decision he'll make. They'll gratefully exactly support him. Kevin Darkness exactly told the Four Nation Hunters that he'll remain as a Four Nation Hunter, and he'll remain as a superhero, and he'll try to change the family. He'll try to change the family's name and redeem it and restore it to its rightful glory, and to its rightful purpose, where it was renamed as the superhero family, not as the villain family kind. Despite it being pledged by darkness and evil through its bloodline. But he told the Four Nation Hunters that he's the exception among his people, and that he's one of the greatest among his people and the rest of his descendants, and that he'll remain an ally to the Four Nation Hunters and to the rest of their allies as well. Over the following years, Kevin Darkness began his training, studying so much about the Sacred World's histories and wars, conflicts, and ancient battles that are some wars and battles that are quietly erased from sacred history on purpose in order to keep the forces of evil's histories, in order to keep the ancient benevolent forces of evil who are quietly still unknown to the rest of sacred history to remain unknown and anonymous to the rest of the Four Nation Hunters. Despite this, Kevin continued to pursue his research about the ancient threats and about the ancient forces of evil that lived and roamed freely amongst humanity and amongst planet Earth and the others who roam the universe and the rest of the galaxy and the rest of the known worlds and the rest of sacred existence and the sacred world as well in the process as well. Despite this, Kevin Darkness exactly began to learn, and he was able to exactly create and forge a philosophy of his own, that he was able to exactly make of his own, of his understanding that peace needs to exactly happen and needs to exactly coexist by any means necessary, and that it's worth fighting for by all means necessary. Despite the hardships and the challenges, as he said to himself, it's completely worth fighting for. As he studied the sacred history of the sacred worlds and all of its wars and battles, and classified and erased histories and archives of the sacred world, as he completely began to study it, as he passed with flying colors on the sacred world schools and magical schools during his exams and during his period. During over time, Kevin Darkness was known to be a prodigy and to be a greater successor due to his dedication and due to his determination in exactly succeeding and passing his exams, and that he told the magical mistress of the fairies and of the witches and of the druids that he did this in order to get great insight knowledge about the sacred world's histories and wars and philosophy, so he can able to better himself in order to understand exactly how it happened and how it all began completely. The head mistress of the magical schools and of the other magical schools and dimensions exactly told Kevin, regardless of the less, he is straightly a greater philosopher, and they completely successfully proud of him as well. Over the following years, Kevin Darkness exactly helped the Four Nation Hunters wage war against the monsters of the Dark Dimension, as he completely rose to the occasion and ascended to the occasion as well. On the 15th of January, Kevin Darkness was quietly summoned by the Four Nation Hunter elders and leaders on the central headquarters of the basis of operation, where Kevin Darkness was introduced to a powerful, beautiful light hunter known as Lytrus, who is a founder and leader of the Universal Defending Heroes. Lytrus exactly explained her missions and her goals and her objective to the Four Nation Hunter elders, and as well to Kevin, stated to Kevin that she needs his expertise and as well as his talents and his skills in order to help her to defend the sacred world and humanity and the sacred universe from all forces of evil and from all forces of evil and from all sinister threats that they threaten the sacred peace and balance and harmony that they are so dedicated to protecting and maintaining as well before the time of the ancestors, before after the ancestors exactly fulfilled the ancient promise to mankind and to the rest of sacred existence. Kevin Darkness exactly accepted the invitation to join forces with Lychus and to becoming another member of the Universal Defenders as well. On the 29th of January, the rest of the members of the Universal Defending Heroes were quietly shocked and spooked when they heard the rumors about the death of the original Lord of Magic, which took place on the 25th of January, which the power vacuum began on the 25th and it continued and it started on the 1st of February. They were quietly shocked, but very quietly pleased and very happy that the dark scourge and dark disease and virus that continued to plague the sacred world and the sacred universe into eternal darkness has finally ended. But they didn't quietly realize that it's about to get a lot worse and that the war is not far from over and that it's just about to get a lot worse and that there's more dark forces that are quietly actively rising and ascending to power as Lychus and the rest of the other Universal Defending Heroes exactly made up in the central headquarters of a basis of operation which was quietly hidden in a base, which was quietly hidden in a cave somewhere, which was quietly hidden in an ancient cave somewhere. Lychus exactly told the members of their teammates that this power vacuum has created nothing else but a major problem for them and for their long-term mission, that the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders will start secretly forming powerful, formidable alliances with ancient groups of supervillains such as the Order of the Five and the Order of the Six and the Galactic, the Sacred Five, the Sacred Circle, the Unholy Alliance, the Unholy Alliance, and as well as the Unholy Alliance, the Order of the Four and the Order of Death and the Order of Power as well, and the Power of Change as well, meaning that these ancient groups will exactly take advantage of the chaos within the Shadow Empire and use it to their benefit in order for them to fulfill their goals and their objectives in a right way. Kevin Darkness completely agreed with Lychus that the alternative way and route is for them to fight these forces and these deadly dark threats that exist within the sacred universe, and is for them to travel across the sacred world and the rest of sacred existence to take the fight and the war to the forces of evil and to the rest of their associates and operatives as well, as they all completely agreed on that. On the 13th of February, an entire beautiful world and planet was about to be ravaged and destroyed by a rogue Shadow Empire warlord who set out on a mission of destruction in order to prove himself worthy to the higher ups, of the Shadow Empire, elders and commanders. To do that, he had to destroy an entire planet, but the Universal Defending Heroes exactly arrived in time in order to prevent the tragedy before it could actually get any worse, and in doing so, they fought up against the Shadow Empire warlord and the rest of his forces and completely decimated his battle cruiser, and the rest of the other aliens and inhabitants were completely grateful for the Universal Defending Heroes mission in their great intervenence in thwarting the evil Shadow Empire warlord and commander's sinister plans before he could destroy their worlds and before he could successfully destroy their home worlds as well in the process. Despite this, the aliens exactly reassured the Universal Defending Heroes that they remain allies to them and as well to their goals in restoring sacred peace, balance, and harmony, and in defending the known worlds and the rest of the magical worlds and the rest of the other alien worlds from the forces of evil, and that they're willing to become allies of the Intergalactic Coalition. Lychus and Kevin Darkness and the other rest of the members of the Universal Defending Heroes were very grateful to exactly add it that they officially have managed to find allies, or they managed to successfully able to do so as well. As they begin to take off, they completely left. On the 15th of February, another power vacuum took place due to the disappearance of the Universal Heroes who were gratefully fighting a deadly threat on the other side on the other side, of the sacred universe, which created a huge, gigantic, powerful, deadliest scientific explosion, which is quietly way too big within the middle sector of the sacred universe. This disappearance exactly created a now power vacuum within the Shadow Empire. This time, the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders, each of them exactly formed their own. Each of them exactly formed their own factions, and their own fleets, of battle cruisers, while the others secretly joined forces with Shadow Boy and the rest of the resistance forces. He managed to easily form out of the other Shadow Empire, while the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders exactly continue to secretly supply the ancient secret groups of supervillains with more destructive and compatible technology. In return, these ancient groups of supervillains will secretly supply them with more worlds, planets, cities, ancient volcanic cities, worlds and planets and civilizations, and many ancient sacred cities and nations and tribes and clans and worlds that are officially under their sole control. Due to that, the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders also decided to share the ultimate and greatest resources of all to the ancient secret society groups of supervillains in return for the worlds and planets that they managed to mercilessly conquer and put them under control, and by throwing the influence to the rest of the other inhabitants of those worlds and civilization as well in the process. On the 29th of February, the Universal Defending Heroes realized that the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders are becoming very much strategic, and they are becoming very highly strategic and very highly intelligent. Meaning, in other words, it's actually time for them to actually move up the next phase of their plan and of their goals in order to defending the rest of the known worlds and the rest of the other civilization, which Kevin Darkness completely agreed with the rest of the members of the Universal Defending Heroes as well. On the 15th of March, the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders fleet began a full-scale invasion on the other worlds and civilization. When the inhabitants of the other worlds were forced to fight back with their fleets of battle cruisers, it created an all-out battle from all sizes, and the Universal Defending Heroes were forced to intervene as Kevin Darkness unlocked his forbidden power and he unlocked his forbidden power and energy to manipulating and controlling lightning energy at will, which was able to use to decimate dozens of battle cruisers of Shadow Empire warlords and commanders that were completely headed on a mission of destructive. Despite this, the Universal Defending Heroes remain victorious, as the rest of the other aliens and superhumans who also remained victorious throughout the battle, as the enemy's fleets were completely decimated, captured several enemies and many Shadow Empire warlords and commanders and rogue evil warlords and commanders who are also aiding and abetting and assisting the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders as well. Ultimately, they were sentenced straightly into custody into the Astral Prison to remain there for their crimes against the sacred world. The Astral Prison is a super criminal prison designed to house powerful, deadly threats and very ancient evil forces of evil, such as powerful super criminals and deadly evil warlocks and warlords and commanders and Shadow Empire warlords and dark druids and dark witches and dark fairies and evil witches and evil druids and evil faithful witches and evil aliens and all types of criminals and evil superheroes or rogue evil Phoenician hunters. That is what the Astral Prison is designed for, as well as a sacred prison in the Dark Ark, which is also designed to house super criminals and super villains as well, who wreak havoc and chaos throughout the known universe and the rest of sacred existence as well in the process. On the 20th of April, Kevin Darkness and the members of the Universal Defending Heroes exactly convene on the central headquarters of a basis of operation, which was from another beautiful world and planet of a basis of operation, which was from another beautiful world, which was from another beautiful world and planet, where Lycus exactly told the members of the Universal Defending Heroes that the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders are gratefully becoming highly aggressive and very too dangerous and very too highly unpredictable now, especially at this rate, in that they have more resources and more unlimited resources. Kevin Darkness began to tell Lytrus that these resources are coming from a powerful enemy and also an invincible greater threat who are also aiding them and assisting them on their common goals and also in their common interests. The only way for them to actually do that is for them to strip out the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders out of the worlds and planets that they've managed to conquer. And they all agreed that that is the best solution, to cut them right at the source by literally stripping their sole control of the other worlds and planets and civilization that are under their sole control. They have agreed to effectively do that as well. On the 15th of June, the Universal Defending Heroes arrived on another beautiful magical city that's completely conquered, that was completely conquered and enslaved and ruled by the Red Empire. This time, the Red Empire soldiers and commanders were completely on the grounds of the city as they managed to create an occupation for the rest of the civilians and for the rest of the citizens. The Universal Defending Heroes decided it's best for them to actually blend in with the crowd in order to figure out exactly how did the mighty, powerful, magical city fell under the control of the Red Empire. They began to learn that the people were planning a powerful resistance attack against the Red Empire warlords and commanders in order to overthrow them. Kevin Darkness had told the rest of the inhabitants and the rest of the supernatural citizen that the smartest way in order for them to actually do that is for them to exactly attack the source of the Red Empire, attack the source of the Red Empire's throne room. But that'll be the jurisdiction of the Universal Defending Heroes, which is decided in order to form a resistance that could easily exactly take effectiveness against the evil Red Empire warlords and commanders. The resistance was slightly formed as it began to exactly take the war and the battle straightly towards the Red Empire warlords and commanders, and they completely exactly fought up against them. And the soldiers and the army of the Red Empire nation also stood up a fight against the magical creatures. The battle turned out into be a supernatural war as every creature and being released their greatest, uniquest, extraordinary abilities amongst and against each other. Each creature and each being possesses a unique supernatural power and ability as they were able to use it among against each other. The Universal Defending Heroes and the rest of the resistance were gratefully fully victorious throughout the battle as they liberated Magical City from the control of the Red Empire. Despite this, the rest of the inhabitants agreed that they will remain allies of the Intergalactic Coalition and will also assist them and obey them. Kevin Darkness exactly shook hands with the representative of the magical creatures and beings of the city, and Lytrus as well, and the rest of the other members of the Universal Defending Heroes agreed that they'll also remain allies to their allies and also to the rest of their forces, meaning well that they're completely allies to one another. On the 20th of July, the Universal Defending Heroes exactly decided to take a scout out on the ancient ruins and ravaged planet of a destroyed magical civilization that happened many centuries ago. Kevin Darkness realized that this war was a dark and light magical war, that powerful dark magic users and light magic users were at war against each other. As Lytrus was able to tell that this entire landmark and temples and ancient powerful magical temples were gratefully besieged by dark magic, and dark and light magic as well was also part of the battle, meaning that this was a magical powerful war. The good question is exactly, Kevin Darkness asked Lytrus, when did these magical wars exactly start taking place? Lytrus exactly told Kevin that these dark and powerful light magical wars took place during the great century in the ancient times, when the original Lord of Magic was in power and in control over everything, and he was the one who was able to orchestrate all these wars and all these events to go his precise way so that he can remain the sole dominant ruler of the sacred universe and of the sacred world as well in the process. Despite this, they continue to investigate and they continue to find out that there are more powerful dark crystals that are highly activated and very gratefully highly activated from the great battle, from the great sacred war and battle that took place many centuries ago and many 100 years ago as well. Despite this, Lytris and the other rest of the members of the Universal Defending Heroes converged their power and energy to the dark crystals as were able to exactly meditate through it, and the crystal and the dark crystal became into a lighter crystal, became into a blue crystal as the power of the dark energy of the dark magic crystal became highly replenished and highly able to not exactly coexist with the blue crystal's energy as the light magic returned to the blue crystal itself. Lytris and Kevin Darkness were very quietly successfully pleased that they managed to revive the dark crystal and turning it into a blue crystal, reviving its true magic potential and power as blue magic itself was completely reborn from the crystal as well. Despite this, the rest of the other Universal Defending Heroes told Lytris that this entire place should be studied and should be known by, as Kevin completely agreed with the rest of the other members. Despite this, Lytris told the rest of the other members of the team that's not exactly quietly safe for them to exactly remain in the space of operation, as it could still be spies and natives of the dark magic users of the dark druids and dark witches and dark faithful who are still exactly within these ancient dark ruins of the temple, who are actually spies and followers of the new Lord of Magic known as Lord Jet or Lord Clay as well, who are gratefully spies of those two powerful new level magics. They decided to exactly retreat and go back to their central headquarters. On the 15th of August, the Universal Defending Heroes completely exactly convened in the central headquarters of their bases of operation, where they'll be able to combine the full intelligence of a plan and of the rest of the mission as well. Despite this, Lytris told the rest of the members of the team that their successful plan in liberating all these worlds and planets is going to take time and it's going to take years and a lot of work to be put into, as they all successfully agreed on that. So did Kevin as well. On the 29th of September, Kevin Darkness exactly continued to study more about the dark sacred magical wars into the sacred archives of the books of the fairies and witches, as he continued to learn more about the sacred dark magical wars that took place many centuries ago, and especially as well during in ancient times, as he continued to discover a very powerful secret that could alter the fate of the sacred worlds and the rest of sacred existence. On the 15th of October, Kevin Darkness exactly entered the ancient caves of the greatest, most powerful ancient beings known as the Fates, where he was able to speak with the Fates and exactly ask for their advice and ask for their plans. The Fates exactly told Kevin that his sole purpose and destiny has now finally been realized, and that he's managed to step into it, and that they continue to advise him to stay on it and also to stick on it, despite that the fates exactly warn Kevin of what's coming and what's exactly still yet to come, and that he and the Universal Defending Heroes must be prepared for what's successfully coming. As Kevin Darkness exactly took the fates warning very seriously, that's exactly what they were wanting to do. On the 20th of November, the Universal Defending Heroes exactly decided to walk into the ice mountains and worlds, unaware that the entire worlds and planets were actually set as an ambush by the dark druids and dark witches and dark faithful, who gratefully appeared from the sky and decided to tell the Universal Defending Heroes that they've gratefully had enough of their interference and of them thwarting their plans and their long-term plans and goals from their masters and from their leaders. Despite this, the Universal Defending Heroes fought back against the dark magic users who besieged the entire magical mountain worlds with dark magic and dark power. As a battle continued to wage on, the Universal Defending Heroes were completely successful and they remained victorious, as they were quietly very much aware that these dark magic users were never quietly good in orchestrating or organizing highly events. Kevin Darkness told the other members of the Universal Defending Heroes that someone or something must have exactly told them on how to organize such a very event, or to organize such a very highly event or an ambush in order to attack the Universal Defending Heroes right away. On the 28th of December, Kevin Darkness exactly continued to learn more about the secretive wars and battle on the central headquarters of the Universal Defending Heroes base, as you continue to study more and everything else about the ancient wars and battles that continue to exactly took place many centuries ago, in order for him to precisely know more about exactly what happened to them as well. On the 15th of January, the Universal Defending Heroes completely convened with the members of the Universal Heroes on the central headquarters, which was an asteroid base where they were able to meet up, and the Universal Man completely exactly told Lytris that they've been doing such a very much of a great job and a very much of a great work, and that they should keep doing what they're doing, because now in doing so, it has managed to spread a positive impact towards and across the rest of the sacred universe and the rest of the sacred world, and the rest of the Four Nation Hunters and the rest of the other supernaturals, aliens, superhumans have decided to join forces, while the others have decided in order to fight amongst themselves and against themselves as well, which will soon exactly change. Kevin Darkness was very completely proud as Universal Man, recognized their great works and their great methods, and also their attempts in trying to defend the sacred world and the rest of sacred existence from the forces of evil. Nevertheless, the Universal Heroes exactly told the Universal Defending Heroes that their resources are for them to exactly use whenever way they see fit. Kevin Darkness asked Universal Man about the Red Empire prison bases of operation, and as well as the Winter Empire prison's locations or base of operation. Despite this, Universal Man exactly gave Kevin Darkness all the information about the Red Empire prison islands and about the volcanic prison islands and everything else about them. And he asked exactly what is he willing to do with that information. Kevin Darkness exactly told Universal Man that he's willing to liberate all the war criminals and all the other supernaturals and aliens and superhumans who were heavily captured and apprehended by the Red Empire during the Great War. As Lytris successfully agreed and the other members successfully agreed, and that is what they are all willing to do together as well. On the 20th of February, Kevin Darkness and the other rest of the members of the Universal Defending Heroes met up with the representative of the Intergalactic Coalition, with the Four Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition completely exactly thanked the Universal Defending Heroes on their great courageous work and information by spreading a positive impact towards the rest of sacred existence and towards the rest of the sacred world, said to them that they've done a very much of a good job and a very much of a great work. Nevertheless, the Universal Defending Heroes were very successfully proud, as they told the Four Nation Hunters that they will always remain allies to the Intergalactic Coalition and to the Four Nation Hunters, as Kevin Darkness himself completely agreed with that as well, as they all exactly agreed that they share a common goal and a common interest to defending the sacred world and the rest of sacred existence from the forces of evil as well. Despite this, guys, Kevin Darkness is exceptionally skilled in hand-to-hand combat, tactician, strategist, and also with strategic planning. He's very smart, very intelligent. He's a descendant of the actual Darkest family of the Four Nation Hunters, and he's very skilled in using his greatest unique abilities and powers as well. He's very devoted and loyal to the Four Nation Hunters and to the Universal Defending Heroes, which he sees as brothers and sisters, and is willing to aid them and abet them on a common interest to defending the sacred world and the rest of sacred existence from the powerful forces of evil that wreak havoc and chaos upon it as well. He's very good and very well courageous and very fearless and very determined to defending mankind and the rest of the sacred world and the rest of the sacred existence from the forces of evil that dare threaten the sacred peace and the sacred harmony. He dedicated his life and everything else to fighting the monsters of the dark dimension in order to saving humanity from the forces of evil as well. He learns from the Universal Defending Heroes that their greatest obstacle and their greatest threat is the Universal Prince, the New Lord of Magic, and the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders, and the Star Empire and the Star Prince, and the Dark Order and Red Bolt, and the other Red Empire warlords and commanders as well, and the other evil Dark Druids and Dark Witches and Dark Faithful, and the other sinister ancient shadowy organizations who pose a global sinister threat to the rest of the known universe as well, who are willing to take them down before they can further their plans and their goal. Despite this, Kevin Darkness learns that the Universal Defending Heroes are frequently clashing with the ancient secret societies of groups of villains that have been able to operate from the shadows of the sacred world and from the shadows of humanity and from the shadows of humanity and from the shadows of the sacred universe, which are the reason for the chaos and for the destruction as well. He's very courageous, very clever, very determined, and very loving and very kind and very, very loyal towards the rest of his teammates. He views them as brothers and sisters, and he's very skeptical and very optimistic, a well-trained student of a Four-Nation Hunter, proud of his great works and his good works of his good mission, and he's willing to make an example of himself, is willing to make an example of himself to make sure that he can easily clean the family name of the Darkus family, trying to redeem it to make sure it becomes a family name of the superhero family, despite the descendants who become the bad guys and the supervillains. He quietly acknowledges his family's history in being known and being revered because of them being the mightiest, powerful, baddest supervillain family of all time and throughout sacred history as well. And he's willing in order to fix that, and also redeem the family name of the Darkus family, trying to turn the Darkus family name into a force for good and rather into a force for evil as well. Despite this, he maintains his usual basis of operation as well as his central headquarters by using the Universal Defending Heroes as basis of operation in order for him to exactly study to know more about his enemies, his foes, and any threat that they dare come across in order for them to exactly to become well prepared and ready for any sinister threat or any force of evil that might exactly be able to face. He's very skilled in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, guns, able to manipulate the power of lightning and energy at will, able to converge magic and turning dark magic and turning dark crystal magic into light blue crystal magic at will. Very gifted in light magic and very gifted in sorcery and very gifted in powers. He has great supernatural powers of manipulating shadows and darkness as well. He has the ability of disappearing and reappearing at will, also with the ability of opening up portals and the ability of teleportation that's been family granted throughout his family for all time and throughout the following centuries as well. That this great gift of teleportation has been passed down throughout the descendants for many centuries and for many years. And Kevin Darkus possesses the ability of teleportation, of teleporting himself at will, and also teleporting anyone else he touches along and also teleporting himself along the people he touches as well with him, who can also come with him to be teleported by him as well. He's very gifted with his powers and with his abilities, and he uses them for the greater good than not for the greater evil. Very skilled in super strength, super speed, super speed, super limping, great superhuman, great regenerative healing powers, properties, and great powers of mind controlling, telekinesis, telepathic mind abilities, and also super limping and super jumping, and also sensing and super smelling, and also super sensing and super smelling, and flight as well. And the ability that has been granted as well is also having the ability to fly at will, and also having the ability to fly at will, and the ability to manipulating his ancient magical powers and energies at will, and the ability to manipulating nature and all of its natural resources at will, and also the power that has been granted to manipulating light, magic, and shadow energy at will as well in the process. Very gifted, very kind, very loyal to the Universal Defending Heroes, very, very welcoming, trained wild Four-Nation Hunter, gratefully intelligent, gratefully resourceful, gratefully smart, very smart tactician, strategist, and a strategist, and very gifted in swordsmanship, combat, and in hand-to-hand combat, and also in combat magic as well. Very gifted in mind controlling and also in controlling things that are gratefully far away, with the power of magnetism at will, which you can exactly use at will as well, and in creating magical force field with super speed and also with super strength at will, and creating super magical shields at will as well. Very gifted in dark magic and in light magic as well. Very truly gifted and very noble, and honored Formation Hunter superhero who's a high-ranking member of the Universal Defending Heroes as well. Well, guys, that's it for today. You'll actually receive this episode on Monday, but I'll actually try to download it on TikTok for those of you who are actually watching TikTok. And for those of you who are actually watching Swords, you'll receive the Swords today. Have a blessed and gratefully great weekend. I will see you on Monday. Stay safe and stay happy. And may God bless you all. Take care.